Welcome to Horror Movies with TNA. Each episode, we're going to pick a film, talk about it, and rate it. Word of warning, there will be spoilers. This week, we're talking about
Bodycount, aka Camping Terror. Ruggero Deodata's 80s foray into the world of Friday the 13th-esque campsite slasher movies. Throw in a mystical maniac and two stalwart horror veterans, Hess and Farmer, and you've got Bodycount.
I like it. Yeah, it's it.
He did Cannibal Holocaust, didn't he? We know he did loads of shit. He did Cut and Run, which I bought on DVD and I thought was quite good.
And he did House by the Edge of the Park.
Yeah, another David S. one. Yeah, but they're his most notable ones. The other ones.
Oh my god.
One of the fucking worst films I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
This was a different type of clocking on.
Yes, yeah.
Get on with it.
Ruggero Deodata. I'm going with that pronunciation. I don't give a shit.
Pronunciation.
What did I say? Pronunciation.
Yeah.
Can't I say that? Fuck you. Body Count, 1986, starring.
I've got it down as 1984.
You know where I saw it? It said
But
87
Wikipedia,
as well.
Wikipedia says 86, and I went, doubt it. But then a character says in the film 1986.
80s film. I'm not going to go through all the names, but Mimsy Farmer's in it. Yes. And of course, David Hess. In this film, the way to describe him is he's intense. He's cross all the time, isn't he?
Yeah, well, there's a bloke in a tent as well. Is that what you mean?
He's intense, as were all the campers.
And that's the level of jokes.
That's the joke. It's worth mentioning as well, 80s music was done by Claudio Simonetti. It wasn't one of his best soundtracks, was it?
No,
bits
of it were like Phenomena, the one from the film, Dario Argento film. Because he did the music to that as well, didn't he?
Well, I thought Claudio Simonetti was originally in Goblin, Monty, so he would have had a hand in all those kinds of... one thing I want to say about this film is when I watched the credits, it...
Goes on, 2 minutes credits.
It said, believe it or not, that 4 people were involved with writing the script. Tell me what you think of that straight away. It's fucking awful. But apparently there's 4 people. They obviously sat down and I think a collaborative effort this was.
Yeah, we'll mention it a lot, but I think the guy that played Sid was improving.
I was going to say exactly that. For saying there's 4 people who wrote the script, I thought all of them were improving. I thought that most of them were making it up as they went along. Anyway, let's set the scene.
Yeah, to be honest, you're going to be pulling the hard weight on this one.
No, listen. We start, based on when the actual film's set, we actually have a flashback of 15 years prior, where we go straight to the camp where all this is based, and straight away we're told within the first 5 minutes that the campground was built on the site of a Indian burial ground.
Yes.
I mean, usually that thing's discovered around 2/3 of the way through the film.
This was right, but you don't know it's a flashback. It's not obvious. It just starts.
And then it flashes forward 15 years.
Is there a caption saying
it says 15 years later,
right,
after about 10 minutes. So it starts at the actual campsite where they explain straight away. I think Ruggero obviously wanted to get that backstory out of the way straight away, so then he could just concentrate on the nerve-shredding... Sorry, I meant...
nerve-shredding horror masterpiece that is Bodycount.
So I think he got the backstory of the burial ground out of the way, and the fact that there was some kind of fucking shaman or something who was keeping the spirits prisoner. No, listen.
Right, it's Mimsy is telling this story to David Hess. And this is a bit where I totally agreed with David Hess's acting.
Robert and Julia.
So David Hess grabbing a football, and she's saying this bloody boring story about the burial ground to him.
Yeah.
And he don't give a shit.
Well, he's only kind of half listening, and then... yeah.
Same here.
And then he goes and talks to Ben, his son, and that whole scene with him talking to his son's a very weird one as well. He kind of, "Hi, Ben, what's the matter?" And then there's a grown woman doing Ben's voice saying, "I've lost my teddy bear." It's just a weird scene.
He starts singing to him though. Ben, the two.
Then it shows the story of these teens that post-sex And this is the start of the good script. I think they're in a tent, and he says, "It was fantastic, Rose. All get married."
Did he give a thumbs up as well? Hey, like Fonzie.
And then it should have been a freeze frame.
He jumps in the air. Yeah. And the end.
They're chased by the shaman then. There's a bit... Actually...
Can I make a joke about the shaman now? Because that's quite...
Oh, we can move any
Any
mountain.
yeah.
Moving any mountain.
Jesus. It's going to be a long, bumpy ride.
There's this side plot as well of the sheriff having sex with Julia, Robert's wife, as well, isn't there? Which...
Yeah, the sheriff...
That
the
bit
sheriff,
plays throughout the film.
I know some interesting detail. No, it's not really. There's been a lot of Russ Meyer films. I quite like Russ Meyer films. Anyway, his name's Charles Napier. He used to be in a lot of Roger Corman films as well. And this is boring me now. But yeah, it's Sheriff Barnes in this, and it's a waste of fucking space.
Well, yes. Yeah. Well, I like... He says the last words in the film, which are...
Robert!
So I like him for
Are
that.
you going to have that on your... just put the S on the end?
Yeah.
To wake you up in the morning before work.
These two teens get chased by the shaman, Rose, and I can't
We
remember the guys.
can't
Tommy.
move any
Tommy and
mountain.
Rose get chased by the shaman. She puts her hand on the floor and she gets a knife through her hand.
That bit I thought was all right.
Yeah.
To be honest, I thought this is going to be shit. I mean, I was correct. When I saw that bit, I thought, oh, maybe it won't be.
Tommy and Rose being chased by the shaman. There's a bit where Rose runs and hides in a hollowed out oak tree on its side, and the shaman stabs through the trunk, and then it moves away to Tommy looking for her, shouting, "Rose, are you putting me on?" And he rolls over who he thinks is Rose. It wasn't.
I thought that was quite good, actually, because I didn't expect
It
that.
was the shaman, wasn't it? It was the shaman, wasn't it? I thought the shaman looked like what Klaus Kinski would look like if he'd just been dug up.
Yeah, what was that film he did that was any good?
Crawl Space.
No, the
one where he does the theatre.
Wrath of God. No, I never watched that because it looked boring.
He did a lot of
one
that.
where he squeezes a monkey and makes it poo. That's all I remember from the end of it. I thought it was a bit cruel.
What, like he was doing icing on a cake?
In a way, yeah. It's not very nice. Wrath of God. Oh, God.
What
It's
do you
really
mean,
good
the
film.
ghost?
It's a really good film.
Crawl Space. So these two people, Ben and Rose, are slaughtered. Switches across to showing young, impressionable Ben watching the slaughter. So that's 10 minutes of just that flashback. Fast forward 15 years.
I wish I could have fast forwarded an hour and a half.
We see the big kind of Winnebago driving down the road, and this is where we get a first chance to meet some of the gang, and what a fucking fun bunch they are. So this is Tracy, Tony, Sid, Sissy and Carol.
You'd think I'd noticed that. I didn't get any of the names. It's almost like I was only half watching it.
Banter. The fucking banter's hilarious between the gang, isn't it?
Yeah. Go on
Yeah,
then.
I'm just going to give you straight away the initial conversation is... So Sissy says, "I bet it snows. This isn't good for my ovaries." Sid says, "Ever since that trip to the abortion clinic, your reproduction system has been very weird. I know you stole one of my choc bars. Thought I wouldn't notice that, you thieving little witch." What do you think of that?
I don't know. It just... I don't know. Yeah.
And then he says...
Because
Listen,
some of them are dubbed.
there's a girl that's got a Texas drawl.
Fuck me. Texas... I don't know what it is. But the point is, she's been dubbed, isn't she? Because her mouth isn't quite... Where
Right.
Sid is American.
No, it's just...
She's got a ponytail.
And then... Yes, and then...
In the camper van thing that
Yeah.
we're in, she was right near the front.
And I think Carol has got the...
With the weirdest voice
the
ever.
dark hair. Who's... yeah.
Oh, and she dies really early on, so it don't matter.
Sid also says, "Nobody calls me Sydney except my mother and Oral Roberts." Who's Oral Roberts?
I thought that was your name.
That's what they called me at high school. Then another group of guys...
To be honest, that was Sid level of banter.
Another gang turn up.
Go on.
They rock up, and there's a guy that spends most of the film on a motorbike, Dave. Yeah. Well, he was a twice world motocross champion. He's on the bike a lot, isn't he?
He's on the drugs a lot. Must be to be in this film.
And we get to hear some music as well. The song by Randy Nichols, She Can Steal Your Heart Away. Listen to these lyrics. They're on par with the script. You heading for the Sweet 16. We're showing off in real good style. Fashion, the beauty queen. Well, now I wish you were just a dream. Do what you want to do. You do what you want to do.
I mean, that's already...
You heading for the Sweet 16.
Again, it's loads better. Even that bag of shit you just did then. That's better than this fucking film.
Stop moaning about it, because I really love it.
Right,
they all get to camp. So is this Ruggero Deodata's attempt at Friday the 13th or the burning or something like that?
I would say it on this one, it is meant to be mainly like Friday the 13th. All the way through, really.
Yes.
With the mother and the son and all that bullshit. And I mean, I've major spoilers. I mean, it's fucking obvious from the very first part who it is. The very first 10 minutes, you know who it is.
Yeah. I mean,
unless, of course, you're stupid.
They all get to camps. That's Sharon, Dave, Scott, fucking Tony, Sydney, Sissy, Carol, Tracy. They all get there. On the way, they pick up Ben, who's travelling back to the campsite. He's in uniform, so he's obviously come back from Nam. I don't know. He's coming back from...
Maybe he's got just
it could be
proper strict scouts. I don't know.
Yeah, bad dialogue alert. Ben jumps aboard the Winnebago, and one of the girls, probably Sissy, steals his beret, and she says, "Hey, your beret is really neat. How do I look?" To which Sydney says, "Like a rubber."
I'm hoping you're picking up my...
Yes, it was audible.
You just, well, if not, overdub a massive sigh in there.
Oh, and then somebody says in passing, "So, Benjamin, what do you like? I mean, besides Miami Vice." So that gives you a glimpse of the period of the time. When was Miami Vice?
80s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can feel it. Need to go today.
When that
Perfect.
Was when Phil did a live stint at the Rose and Crown, was it? The sheriff keeps hovering around all the way through, but now we're introduced back.
He's literally hovering.
He's been in contact with the shaman, hasn't he?
Awful.
David S is now back in.
David
on the
Essex?
scene. What was that? David S is a miserable shit. I thought. He is. He greets.
Nah, you're not even saying it. I mean, in real life, because that's his real name.
He kind of.
Do you?
Right. First of all, he's not happy with the shaman. He's cross with the shaman. Not fucking Mr. C.
Bodycount, shame on. Bodycount, shame on. Bodycount, shame on. Bodycount shaman here. Whilst they are regularly referenced in this episode, any similarities between a 90s electronic dance group and a remorseless killing shamanic figure are purely coincidental. To this shaman's knowledge, the shaman's Mr. C has never been found stabbing anybody in the shower. Block. That is a fact. Anyway, on with the debacle. Bodycount, shame on. Bodycount, shame on. Bodycount, shame on.
He's cross with the shaman, and he also suspects his wife has been having sex with the sheriff. So, in general, he's not a happy bunny. He never cracks a smile.
I don't think he suspects. He pretty much knows, doesn't he?
He does.
And she is. So, well done, mate. Yeah.
There's a scene where the doc is talking to one of the other sheriffs. The doc was in at the beginning of the film because I think it's his daughter that got murdered.
That bloke was in Tenebrae. He was the main bloke that gets axed. It's that he's in the twist bit because someone sees him getting killed because they think he's the killer. And I also said he's been in loads of Italian films. I looked him up as well.
Let me guess an Italian film he was in.
Loads.
No, let me guess one. I'm going to guess one.
Well, I didn't look that bit up. So
No. House by the Cemetery.
No, look. I didn't. Right.
Let me guess another.
Die Hard.
Right, I didn't write down all the films he's been. He's been in loads. And if you want to look it up, knock yourself out.
Do.
Yeah.
Listen to this. So the
But I
doc's
haven't finished
talking
my
to one of the
boring
sheriffs.
bit yet.
This is deep.
Well, go on, do
This
your
is-
bit,
no,
and then
this
I'll
is
say.
that, this bit,
I'll
this
say really interesting bit though.
Oh, go on, do that now.
All right, go on.
I like the sound of this. You said it.
Guess where? So he's been in a lot of Italian films. I don't know fucking all of them before you quiz me on the bastard. Guess where he's originally from?
I know. Matlock.
Chester.
Oh, Chester.
Close.
Wow.
Would you believe it?
Well, isn't it a small
Carry on,
world?
Jesus Christ.
The Doc, I don't know what he's, Doc Hollywood, I don't know what his fucking name is. He's talking to one of the sheriffs and he says, the sheriff says to him, we're in a democratic country, Doc. Everybody does what they want. And the Doc says, well, you know what I feel about democracy, let alone campers.
It's like someone had put a pen betwixt their buttocks and just generally moved it around a bit on a piece of paper.
How long would it be before the million monkeys that you gave the million pens to?
Oh, they could do this in a day. They'd do this in a day. Knock this out in a day.
All the kids set up at camp and there's more hilarious banter. The bants just goes on and on. Ben and his dad are walking around the land around the camp, and Robert, or David S, is demonstrating to his son all the traps he's set up to try and kill the shaman. I wrote Robert is a few some blank short of a full blank, but I couldn't think of one of those. He's a few
Sandwiches
short of a
full picnic.
something like yeah, I couldn't remember.
Because they were camping. There you go.
Because he's crackers, isn't he?
He's a few tent poles short of
full
a
campsite. The girls are wandering around and they discover an old building in the woods, the shack, whatever you want to call it. It's a shower room.
They loves a shower room.
They walk through this old deserted shower room. Nobody seems overly that bothered that at the end, in one of the sinks, there's a large machete covered in blood. They find it, one of them remarks about it, and then they just go back for some more funny bants with the rest of the gang. Murder number 1 next. We're about 20 minutes in. This switches to Scott.
No, that's murder number 3.
Oh, we've had the... But this
yeah.
is the... So we've got Scott and Sharon out walking up a hill. Sharon rests while Scott carries on up this hill. He looks like a bit of an adrenaline junkie. He reaches the summit. Scott, or a person who barely looks like him, is thrown down a hillside.
Look, it's quite a good stunt. So he's crawling up the hill. Well, he's meant to be rock climbing. I mean, he's
Well,
just
the
crawling
top
up the
bit,
hill.
right near the top, there's a bit of a craggy outcrop, isn't there?
Whatever. But anyway, the
craggy.
Blokey shaman move any mountain, and he's on a mountain, so there you go. Move any mountain. I can't remember the rest of the lyrics.
I didn't notice.
Anyway, so he's on the top of it with his black cloak and white face and wizard hair. And so that's enough for him to just go, oh, I'll jump off now. And boy, does he take a running
He
jump.
does a lot.
Yeah, he properly stuntmans 4 guys off.
Yeah.
Lee Majors it massively, because I thought, well, he's not just falling off, he's leaping off.
Yes.
And then he does a roly-poly for about half an hour.
A roly.
Ghost.
I don't think professional stuntmen call it a roly-poly.
I think that's the technical term.
Raving?
I thought that was shaven, eh?
Raving shaman. Sharon comes across the shack. She finds a teddy bear on the floor.
Oh, the women love the little teddy.
I think it belonged to Ben when he was a child. But
Ben the two.
She looks at herself in the mirror and the shaman bursts through the mirror. Bit of a jump scare, though.
It was quite good because obviously you're thinking, well, this is meant to be set in reality, so why would something burst out of a mirror?
Yeah, but in the room...
Oh, yeah, no, because you find out there is a room because he specially made a room just in case someone stands opposite the fucking...
So clever.
So, when it was originally released in the UK, they cut... it says 14 seconds out of that bit, but it doesn't go on that long.
14 seconds, but actually...
That's fucking loads.
That's a lot,
Yes,
really.
it's technically called fucking loads. The bit I read, He grabs her, pulls her through the mirror.
Yes, it's meant
Yeah,
to be...
well, the scraping of the glass as she's getting pulled through.
Oh, right. It's quite a long, protracted scene, isn't it?
Yeah,
And the
so
knife
maybe
comes
not.
down, dripped him. I said that I put the blade is carefully lowered because it just kind of went down slowly and then it cut away.
Oh, I probably didn't. The one I watched was on Amazon.
Amazon Prime.
It's an incredibly poor quality 4:3 print. It's not a widescreen one either, is it? Yeah. This one, yeah. This is bloody dark.
It's bloody.
Bloody dark. So that and other scenes where it's in at night, I found really hard without turning the contrast to burning my eyes out.
Then we cut back to Rob, Ben's dad, David Hess, and the sheriff arguing. The sheriff's telling him basically, stop setting the traps. They don't like each other. They don't like each other because I've put, and this is
Because he's
a
knobbing
key
his
point,
wife.
Charlie's banging Rob's wife.
Yeah.
So let's not forget about that. Yeah. He says if you don't back off, I'm going to kill you. Then we go back to the kids around the campfire.
Is this the bit where they're in the road though, and he says something that's meant to be a red herring?
do tell.
Diddly-dee-dee-dee-doo.
I love a film with a twist.
Well, this. I
is
tell you what,
twisty.
this hasn't got twists. It's just shit.
Goes,
If anything happens to these kids,
oh yeah, it's to do.
it's on your head or something
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
And you go, okay, that's from nowhere. In other words, does the sheriff know something about it?
Well, but it's just after he's said. So this may disprove what you're saying. I don't know. It's because he's straight after he's saying, "Stop setting those traps everywhere." So he's more saying if they get killed with the traps. Now I don't know. Or he might be saying, "You the shaman."
You the fucking shaman.
And he goes,
Yeah.
"Could move any mountain." Okay, now it wasn't worth waiting for. I mean, don't. For Christ's sake, you have to go on. To be honest, if you left that in, that'd be ace.
Back with the kids around the campfire. I like this bit. Dave's asking one of the girls what her favourite music is. And at last we had some good natural script because Dave's favourite band is Iron Maiden. Oh, yeah. The evil. The evil that men do. That's in reference to episode 9. They then, more bants as well, they then joke about the size of a sausage. It's hilarious.
Is there a bit where one of the ladies is pretending to flatiate? That's not a word, is it?
It is now.
Flatiate.
It's the TNA dictionary. So that's fellatiation, is it? Is when you say it.
I've been to the doctor
She's in
about
the
that.
act of fellatiation.
What's up with you today? I've got flatiation.
Oh,
Well, I don't know where we're going with it. I think we're struggling.
no, one of the girls suggests that they then go and clean the old shack in the middle of the fucking night as well.
Oh, is this the bog again?
Yeah,
I mean,
fantastic idea.
when you've got a good set, fucking knock yourself out.
See, for some reason, then Sissy is wandering into the shack on her own, and she shouts, "Come on, guys, quit joking around!" And Sid tries to shock her wearing a mask. I just said the mask was slightly better than the one they used for the shaman.
Yeah.
They should have just used that.
Yeah. Is Ebenezer good?
So Sid tries to shock Sissy, and then I wrote, "Sid's a cunt." He takes off his mask and exclaims, "I wouldn't hurt you for all the tea in Lipsitz." Then everybody's falling around, throwing water over each other. It's hilarious.
I mean, let's backtrack with Sid a bit. Well, there's bits earlier on as well.
Yeah.
Upside down sunglasses.
Yeah, but that's never not funny. Next.
Kayak for no apparent reason.
Again,
Or is that one of them?
Again, I'm struggling to keep a straight
I mean,
face. Next.
What I put down, I put comedy value, £2.50. No, you'll notice I mentioned him again. It
I was
goes,
going down in price for that. By halfway through the film, he's already down to £1. Is that?
yeah. I wouldn't give him. I was going to say priceless, and then I put £2.50.
I had a kind of almost not a morbid fascination, but I was kind of addicted to watching him, and I felt sorry for all the actors who were pretending to laugh at him as well. Oh, 30 minutes in, this is where this is the kind of dream bit where Ben's wandering through the Winnebago and he spots a pair of ladies' legs, and he thinks there might be sissies, and when he pulls the bedsheet back, it's a severed leg. And the music blows your mind at that point. And we realise that Ben's nuts.
When you say blows your mind, I mean, don't presume.
It's at this point that we realise Ben's the shaman. He finds himself in the shack, in like the hidden area behind the shack. When he goes into this hidden area, he uncovers all these jars. And I thought this was alright because there was a person in one of the jars.
Yeah.
Like just a person pulling faces. It was weird.
It was weird, but
that's
I
all right.
suppose the problem is when you know it, that is obviously a dream sequence.
It's not his dream anyway.
Oh no, yeah, true.
Julia's
Which doesn't make any fucking sense. Bloody.
He gets like some kind of clamp round his neck, and then a snake appears, and so there's some maggots.
Again, it's a bit dark again. That bit. I had to properly have a stare
Yeah,
at the screen.
yes. If you're watching the Amazon version, it's quite dark. There's snakes and maggots.
Then by the high quality Blu-ray high definition.
Oh, by all means.
You're an idiot.
If there's a Deodata box set, it will be in amongst there as one of his classics. Julia, Ben's mum, Mimsy, wakes up, and it's all her dream.
Again, I suppose that's where they're trying to double bluff you and say, oh, maybe she's not. And they do it later on with her as well, don't they?
Oh.
Massively.
Well, then everybody's a nutter later on. Julia goes looking for Robert when she wakes up, and she ends up finding the sheriff, and they indulge in a little bit of sexy time. And I think Robert is spying on them as well. Back at the Winnebago, Carol opens the door to find Scott, who fell down the hill from earlier, fresh from his fall off the mountain.
I've got a picture.
Oh, have you got a picture of his bloody...
That's good. No, there's a small picture. Good, isn't it?
Following this, the fact that Scott turns up all bloodied, and they already know that it probably wasn't an accident, they still seem to carry on regardless with the bands. They're not really that bothered, to be honest. But they obviously, at this point, when he turns up all bloodied, they know that something's not quite right on the campsite. Then we go back to the hospital, and things don't look good for Scott.
Well, he fell off a fucking cliff, didn't
Well, the police are talking to the doc again, and the police say, these dumb accidents, and the doc says, this was no accident, Ted. That must be the policeman's
Well,
name.
no, it was in a way, though, wasn't it? Because he fell off of his... Well, he took a running jump
hoofed.
off it.
What do you mean? I should give this script to you.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I thought you took it to me because it was that realistic.
No, this is the place I'm reading here. I can tell you there'll be more killings. And it's at this point then the doc tells him the flashback again of some other kids.
Yeah, this was to just squeeze in 2 more murders, I think.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I tell you what, to get the body count up.
Yeah.
Do-do-do-ba-da-bow.
Body count. Body count. This is the one that's a very Friday the 13th, because I think he gets killed and then she lies down on a bed and then a blade comes through the bottom of the bed.
That wasn't that bad.
Yes. Friday 13th-ish.
His kill was fucking... Yeah, her kill out the entire film was probably the only one that was a bit tense.
The doc says there's a killer in these woods. A heartless, bloodthirsty monster. That doesn't really sound like the shaman. And the police said...
No. I mean, the 2 good singles.
Then the policeman after that says, I've changed jobs. I'm going to Denver. Right? So, and then the doc says... Listen. And then the doc says, pray it doesn't reach Denver as well. And I thought that was a really good tag. You know, like, in space, no one can hear you scream. Bodycount. Pray it doesn't reach Denver. That was a good tagline.
They can move any mountains. If anyone's listening to this, they won't have a fucking clue what the film's about. But they will understand that we're idiots.
Oh, 40 minutes in. Dave's falling around on his motocross bike thing again. One of the girls with her beatbox is on the hillside doing aerobics routine.
Oh no, and is she doing that with Sid as well?
Yeah, she's kicking out very violently, but Sid's...
It's meant to be a semi-comedy bit, isn't it?
Everybody is...
I mean...
Their sides are fucking split.
Can you describe what I'm doing now?
Looking sadly down at your feet. His comedic japes. Fucking hell. He's doing a kind of...
This is where I wrote £1 now. He's got to die in the most... I couldn't even write properly here. Die in the best way ever, or not. I put or not when I found out how he died.
Yeah, well, I
Because generally I
Yeah.
thought he's going to like explode into a million pieces, otherwise I'm throwing myself out the window.
Yes, he. Oh yeah, he. It was all. What we got? Carol and Dave go off for a ride on the bike. That's irrelevant. Carol and Dave go off for a ride on their bike. Meanwhile, oh yeah, Tracy is going for a shower. There's some eerie music. We're then looking from the point of view of the shaman behind the mirror, looking at her.
But isn't the mirror all smashed in at this point?
Yeah, well, it might be just that wall or something. I can't remember. I can't remember if the mirror's still there or not at this point. Looking at her from that point of view anyway, watching. Then Tony turns up.
Oh yeah.
And the talk gets really unsexy, I thought. But Tony finds the area behind the wall and he starts to try and prise the wall open.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tracy goes outside and she finds a grating on the floor and she goes down underneath and comes up the other side of it anyway. He doesn't realise this. Listen, because it's quite complex, but it's a beautifully set scene. He's prising open the wall and she's the other side. Yeah. When he does finally open up the wall, she falls through because she's already been killed by the shaman.
Yes, that was it. She gets killed off screen.
She gets a knife through the head, and when he pries open...
We don't see that, though,
I
do
think
we?
it's coming out of her mouth. Then
we see it afterwards. We don't see it happening.
Yeah, you don't see it going in,
yeah,
but you
so
see the after.
She's killed off screen, which is mental for a bloody slasher film. Sorry, when I say mental, shit.
Bit of a...
Cop out.
Yes, it's a cop out. So he pries us open, and as the wall opens out, she falls through. His acting at this point, when he sees that she's dead, is absolutely awful. He cries, "No!"
Yeah.
That acting at that point is truly woeful. I can't stress how bad it is. Sissy promises Sid an orgy, so...
Oh, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
people get murdered, so she gets a top off.
She promises Sid a little bit of action.
Because this is a comedy Porky's-like bit, isn't it?
Sissy leads Sid to Ben's parents' house, saying there's an orgy inside. So Sid gets very excited and strips down. She then pushes Sid through the door, or he runs in the room whilst Robert and Julia are eating their tea.
Yeah, the naked fat bloke wandering in. Did he slip over? He slips over, yeah.
He slips.
And that's not
scripted.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
I thought that was ace because he obviously wasn't meant to fucking slip over.
And
it looks like he hurts himself as well.
I know. And Sid runs out again, and all the time Robert and Julia keep eating their tea, not really reacting to it.
I bet after the take they was pissing themselves.
And Robert says, "I think I'm going to kill that kid." And she says, "I think he'll kill himself," which is a weird one.
Yeah,
I think what she meant to say is, "I think he'll get himself killed." And the subtitles say, "I think he's going to be home soon." Which is not much like it.
Well, none of it makes fucking sense.
Tony is still running around after...
Yeah.
The shaman catches up with him and he gets his fingers chopped off, and then the axe...
But you don't... Yeah, but his
the
fingers...
axe rises but never falls, and then it cuts away again, so you don't get to see the death.
Do you say, you know when he gets his fingers chopped off? Because, again, was it a bit dark? I can't remember.
Yeah, I could see them quite clearly. I think he might have put them on a tree like that, and the axe cuts his fingers.
Was it good?
I thought, because it's quite a... It was a quick shot, and it looked all right. Then we switch to Robert and Julia. Julia's leaving Robert. There's a big fight, which culminates in her clubbing him over the head with a trophy.
I've written down very slowly.
She bashes him on the head.
Oh, by the way,
David S goes bog-eyed.
Right, now I have written something. I said this is the only good, because you've got the only two good actors in this, Mimsy and David S. Mimsy Farmer and David S. This is the only bit that seems, not that I'm after kitchen sink drama, but it's the only bit that seems realistic at all.
Because they could act.
It was quite good, apart from her bludgeoning him very slowly, ×3.
She's clubbed him on the head and has to hide the body of her husband, and the dirty sheriff walks in, and then they're talking with each other whilst the other side of the room, round some shelves, the body's lying. So she's panicking because she thinks the sheriff will discover the body of her husband, who she's just battered.
Well, yeah, she
Head.
drags him round. Yeah. It's a bit of a weird. I mean, that is totally totally out of place.
Yes, I don't think you needed it, but
No.
then maybe.
But
people
having said
could say you
that,
didn't need the
for
film
me,
at all.
that was the only good bit.
Back with the campers, more unfinished.
Keep this shit in.
Back with the campers,
Fucking hell.
more unfunny bits from Sid, who's a cretin, as I put. As him and somebody else and Dave are riding a bike through the camp, the rest of the kids think this is comedy gold. Carol shouts, "You shitheads." I think that says it all, really. Carol, in the Winnebago, she's then off to the shack. She goes to have a shower and she's in front of the folks' wall again.
Is this the bit?
Yes, and,
Hey.
and the wall opens up and some bodies fall out. She obviously screams, and as she's screaming and backing away from the stalls, and the camera's following her out of the building, I put it's mildly good.
No, well,
I mean, I don't elaborate at all. I've just gone one good shot going backwards through the toilets.
so
Oh yeah,
I watched the trailer today for this film as well.
is that bit in it?
I think it is. To be honest, the trailer is far better than this film
I don't see how it can be.
because it shows most of the kills and none of the comedy bits.
Oh yes, Carol is on the run and she runs into Julia, Ben's mum. It was then I realised that Four Flies Farmer may not be able to act any other role than a seemingly normal person who turns into a raging loon. Because she went crazy.
Yeah,
didn't
I
she?
thought. I mean, anyone that listened to episode
4 for
Four.
Four Flies. I keep it simple.
Oh yeah, for Four Flies, I was a bit derogatory about her acting. Let's
Yeah,
say.
she goes crazy. Doesn't
Yeah,
she?
but it's a sudden flip, and it's not the best acting I've seen because I'm an expert in acting, obviously. In this, I thought it was a bit better actually. I thought she was all
I
right.
thought she kind of played the same.
To be honest,
She
David S isn't great in this.
No,
She's very. To be honest, she is in a different film to everyone else.
Julia chases Carol, so the mum chases her into a barn because she realises she's a bit hysterical. And then Robert, David Hess, turns up. He's not dead after all, and he batters Julia around the head, kills her. That's it. That's it for Mimsy. She's dead. Now Robert's the loon. It's almost like they're passing the loon baton onto each other because
Literally.
he's gone proper. He's the second person on the list who could be the shaman. And we're back. And actually, we end up back in the shack again.
Fucking shit.
Ben and Sissy this time. Oh, Sissy's on her own as she discovers the bodies and she goes running out screaming, but still the other campers are still carrying on like nothing's happened. We've got the scene where Sid's going fishing. He's got a song, hasn't he, that accompanies him going fishing. He goes,
Oh
"Ya
my-
da 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 yo hey."
Yeah, I showed you on my phone today. That was a bit. One tip, I was watching
Yeah,
it and I said,
he's-
I can't fucking cope with this.
I can't carry on anymore. It's I'm going to mention the subtitles because in the subtitles it just said he's singing gibberish melodies. Well, you know, can't
He
do
should have
that.
just put, and you've said it already, and I'm going to say it again. Apologies, everyone, if you've got a certain disposition about swearing. Cunt. Just not even in brackets. In the subtitles, it just goes, cunt.
Sid goes fishing.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Problem is that Sid wanders down and gets taken out by one of Rob's traps. And and to reiterate what you said earlier, I was hoping it would be a long, drawn out, tortuous affair. Unfortunately, it wasn't.
No,
A
and
spy-
it don't.
The poignant bit, I suppose, is that Sid's now dead, and in some ways,
It's not, in a way,
you miss him,
yeah, I miss him like,
like I'll miss COVID.
I miss
Hey,
him like.
topical.
Yeah.
Topical.
Jesus Christ.
We're back
Let's
at
do it.
camp with Davey. He's in a tent. He gets attacked by the shaman because the knife's coming through the tent, and he gets cut on the hands as well.
Yeah, he says something stupid. He goes, "What kind of thing is this?" or something like that.
Yeah.
You go, "Well, it's probably just a bloke stabbing you, mate."
Yeah,
I mean,
you can
know.
work for that. And he meets up with Ben, and Ben tells him about the shaman. And Dave exclaims, "Shaman, that belongs with the Yeti and all that other fiction." That's what he said.
Oh, I thought he was going to say thick shit.
Well, when I heard it, I thought he was saying, "and all that other fixing." I didn't get that. Julia's trying to escape from the shaman, and all the while, the boys, Ben and Dave, are on the bike looking for everybody else. They all end up back at the main house. Ben, Dave, Sissy, who's still screaming, and Julia, for some reason, finds a chainsaw and she cuts herself into the building with a chainsaw. And also the sheriff turns up as well, so everybody kind of turns up. Oh, and then...
Do you need me to intervene here? Because I
Yeah,
mean,
you can
you're
do it,
explaining the story. I mean, I have got stuff written down.
Well, go for it then.
But I don't know what to say because it's all shit. Well, no, like I said, I drifted in and out.
What, we're watching it, or this podcast?
Yeah. Well, no. Well, both, I guess. To be honest, when Sid didn't get his comeuppance properly, I went, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, you felt cheated. I can tell. In a way, I wanted the shaman to punch his fucking head off. Oh well. I think at that point, there's a scene where Ben's realisation that his dad has killed his mum, and then we see this flashback of where Ben is watching Four Flies romping with the dirty sheriff. And then at that point, Ben goes completely fucking loopy. And then, listen, this is...
I'm pulling a face, everyone, because I watched this film twice and I still didn't twig that. Because it just destroyed me.
And there's a flashback where then it shows...
fucking another one?
Yeah, it shows Ben as a child watching his mum have sex with the sheriff.
No, but it didn't need to do that because we saw it right at the fucking beginning. This film killing me.
But it did, and it has, and at that point he goes mental. So essentially, all three family.
I went mental.
I said, Ben's a loon. We've got a full set now. I don't know what I was putting there. Right, Dave, Sissy, Julia barricade themselves in until they realise something's in with them.
I remember this.
So
bit.
then they
Why
quickly.
don't I remember the bit before.
Oh, because you're a fucking dipstick. So then they have to break the way out. Sissy gets an axe through her head. Oosh.
Average.
And the shaman slowly approaches Julia with a knife. Dave wrestles with him. And then they all end up outside the house. I think the shaman jumps through a window after Julia. The sheriff turns up, shoots the shaman. They unmask him. And
Does the shaman jump through a window in slow motion at this point?
Yeah. She gets out and he jumps out after her.
I put Friday the 13th again. Derivative, anyone?
The sheriff turns up and shoots the shaman.
Shut. We didn't shoot the sheriff,
did not shoot the This is the bit that grabbed me, because they then slowly unmask the shaman, and I didn't see this coming. I said, "What? It's Ben." It was Ben all along, which you probably haven't realised because you weren't watching the fucking film anyway.
What?
It was Ben.
I don't even know now.
And
I won't know when to see it again. I will never see it again. I'm going to reiterate that if you didn't get it in the first 10 minutes, because Ben was staring at two people being murdered, then you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, but you don't know at that point whether that's psychologically damaged the young Ben. He might be quite hardy stop.
Well,
he might just be going.
It wasn't that
he's.
To be honest, it was his starey face and the music going.
He might be going, whatevs.
I know.
That's exactly what you motherfucking look like. The following day, we switched to Sheriff talking to the last remaining Dave and I don't know, Julie. I can't remember who it is. Basically, they drive off, and then you're left with the sheriff. But the sheriff wanders into the countryside because he knows Ben's dad is still out there, and he wanders out and he shouts, "Robert!" because he's going to get him. And Robert is out there in the woods.
I forgot
gone
Robert was alive,
crazy because he's imagining the shaman's out there. He's just gone loony.
Yeah, so you think he's imagining what happens next? Are you going to say it or shall I? Because I do remember the end.
I think he's gone crazy and he thinks the shaman's still out there.
Right. So Robert's wandering around in the forest, which isn't that dense, To be honest, I took away that it is the proper shaman. Maybe there was the proper shaman anyway, and he isn't just deranged.
I don't think it was.
He puts a big knife up and he's about to kill him.
Well,
This is meant to be the shock ending.
This is brilliant. You can interpret it in so many different ways. Crazy.
Let's review the film. Mark it out of 10. Not get to the point. Let's review the film.
I'll now review this film. It's not great. There's a couple of alright bits. The deaths, well, you don't see much, do you really? The script, Christ. The script made me laugh. I would probably class it as so bad it's good. I'm going to give it 4.
Well,
I'm giving it 4.
that's okay now, because I was worried you were going to give it the uninvited amount.
No.
It's
awful.
It's not so bad it's good. It's
just bad.
2 out of 10.
2 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why it annoyed me so.
I think because throughout this, you've been kind of explaining the bits that frustrated you. I don't think you need to. That's it. It's 2 out of 10.
I think it was made as a cash-in. As a standalone film, it's shit. I've watched it twice. I don't want to watch it again. It's not a very good slasher either. The murder's a bit of a cop-out
I think for me, that's the bit where I'm quite tolerant.
It's meant to be replicating Friday the 13th, but without any of the payoff.
Yeah. Quite lame.
And there's nothing in between the murders to...
What about the bands? What about the funny
Exactly.
bands? Okay, so another...
Sorry, maybe we should do a good film next.
I think, in summation, I'm going to do a summing up now.
Again,
I'm going to address the jury now. It's not very good. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks everyone. Bye. Apologies for moaning so much, but it was shit. Ciao.
Bodycount. It doesn't reach Denver.
Robert!